Welcome to a deep dive
Into
right into a topic I think you'll find.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Um, it's all about becoming the architect.
Your own brain.
Your own brain. You got it. And we're going beyond just thinking about improving. We're talking about neurohacking.
It's taking control. I like that architect analogy because it really is a proactive pursuit. It's about actively shaping your cognitive abilities rather than just passively accepting what you think is possible.
I love that.
Okay.
And our guide in this exploration is Elizabeth Ricker and her book Smarter Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Her story is pretty incredible.
It is.
She transformed from struggling with reading as a child to graduating from both MIT and Harvard.
Both of them.
I mean, come on.
I know.
It really makes you wonder what we're all capable of if we could truly unlock our mental potential.
And her journey highlights an essential point. This transformation wasn't about some inherent genius that she was born with. It was about meticulously exploring and enhancing her cognitive abilities. It really underscores the power of systematic effort and targeted interventions.
So let's define this term neurohacking for our listener.
Okay.
It's like becoming a scientist in your own life. Using self-tracking data and experimentation to figure out how to optimize your brain power.
Moving beyond those generic self-help tips and adopting a highly personalized, data-driven approach.
Ooh, I like that.
Because what works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly.
So neurohacking is about understanding what works best for your unique brain.
Now, Ricker outlines a neurohacker's creed to guide this self-experimentation process. And she starts by emphasizing the importance of thoughtful experimental design.
Makes sense.
Choose your tests and interventions carefully.
Recognize that the results will be unique to each individual. What works for you might change over time as well.
And lastly, there's no need to go it alone.
Not at all.
Collaboration and shared knowledge can be incredibly powerful in this journey.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's dig into one of the most intriguing foundations of neurohacking, the concept of neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to physically change and rewire itself in response to learning and experiences.
So it's not fixed.
It's constantly evolving.
It's like a muscle that gets stronger with use. There was a captivating study with Korean archers. Olympic medalists displayed incredibly efficient brain activity compared to novices.
Oh, wow.
It literally showed how expertise reshapes the brain.
So think about musicians, jugglers, or even taxi drivers navigating intricate city streets. Their brains reflect their specialized skills and show visible physical changes as a result of their efforts.
Wow. And even therapy
Absolutely.
can induce brain changes.
It can.
So that brings up an important question. What about individuals whose brains work differently?
Right.
What does all this mean for them?
That's where the concept of neurodiversity comes in. Neurodiversity challenges the idea of a single, normal brain. Instead, it celebrates the wide array of cognitive styles and strengths. It helps us appreciate that different doesn't equate to deficient.
I like that.
What's considered a disorder in one context could be a unique advantage in another.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So how do we practically boost mental performance using these principles?
Wow.
Ricker breaks it down into 4 key areas.
She does?
Executive function,
Uh-huh.
memory, emotional regulation,
Yes.
and creativity.
That's right.
Let's start with executive function. It's kind of like the brain's control center, isn't it?
Think of executive function as the CEO of your mind.
Okay.
It's responsible for planning, focusing, making decisions, and demonstrating self-control.
And it's not just about book smarts. Ricker uses a great anecdote about Mark Zuckerberg back in high school, before Facebook even existed,
Oh, wow.
to illustrate this. Even then, he displayed the ability to juggle complex ideas, listen intently to others while restraining his own opinions, and shift his perspective effortlessly.
Those traits, working memory capacity, inhibitory control, and cognitive flexibility, are hallmarks of strong executive function. And they're essential for success in many areas, not just tech.
Next, let's explore memory, which is obviously crucial for learning anything new.
For sure.
But is it truly one big thing?
Not at all. We have working memory,
Mm-hmm.
which serves as a mental scratch pad for holding information in the short term. Then there's long-term memory responsible for storing knowledge and experiences over time.
No.
We have autobiographical memory, which allows us to recall personal events.
Right.
And procedural memory helps us learn and execute skills and habits.
Wow, there's a lot going on in there.
There is.
Here's something that I bet you'll find intriguing. Think about Nima Visa. The man with hyperthymesia.
Oh, yeah.
He can remember every single detail of his life.
Incredible.
Incredible, right?
Weiss's case is exceptional, but it highlights the remarkable capacity of human memory. It raises fascinating questions about how some individuals retain information with such precision. It also hints at potential trade-offs. Some with hyperthymesia report difficulty processing new information due to the constant influx of past memories.
Oh, so a perfect memory might not be all it's cracked up to be.
Maybe not.
All right, let's shift our focus to emotional regulation, the ability to manage our feelings effectively.
Emotional regulation is often misunderstood.
Okay.
It's not about suppressing emotions.
Got it.
It's about recognizing, understanding, and modulating them in a healthy way.
Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of a concentration camp, famously said, "Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." His words are so powerful.
They are. He beautifully emphasizes the importance of conscious choice in how we respond to various situations. Emotional regulation gives us the power to navigate challenges without being overwhelmed by our feelings.
There's a process we can use to manage those emotionally charged moments. First, be aware of your physiological responses, like a racing heart or sweating. Next comes the crucial step of deciding where to focus your attention.
We can't attend to everything at once, so this selection process shapes how we interpret the situation.
Right, then we interpret the situation.
Is it a threat or an opportunity?
Finally, we choose our response based on that interpretation. All right, let's tackle this elusive idea of creativity. Is there even an agreed-upon definition?
Defining creativity can be tricky,
I bet.
but a helpful way to think about it is the generation of novel and useful ideas.
And there's this thought-provoking idea called the threshold hypothesis, suggesting that a certain level of intelligence might be necessary for exceptional creativity.
Right.
But it's definitely not the whole story, is it?
The threshold hypothesis suggests that while IQ might provide a foundation, other factors like personality, motivation, and environment are critical in how that creative potential is expressed.
Ricker mentions a study that found a lower threshold than expected,
Interesting.
around an IQ of 85. But they also found that openness to new experiences was strongly predictive of creativity in people with higher IQs.
So being curious, open-minded, and willing to explore new ideas is crucial for translating that intellectual potential into actual creative output.
And remember that story about Ricker's 7th grade teacher who assigned a free writing journal?
Vaguely.
The focus was purely on quantity, not quality. It unexpectedly unlocked creativity for many students.
That anecdote illustrates a valuable principle. Sometimes removing the pressure of judgment and generating a large volume of work can lead to more original and innovative ideas.
It's like giving your brain permission to play without fear of failure.
I like that.
Now that we've explored these 4 core areas of mental performance, let's shift gears and talk about how to identify our own personal bottlenecks,
Okay.
those areas where we might be holding ourselves back.
Ricker introduces these concepts of jaggedness and wobble to help us pinpoint areas for improvement. Jaggedness refers to variations in our strengths and weaknesses across different mental abilities.
So someone might be great at memory but struggle with emotional regulation.
And wobble describes those fluctuations in performance within a single mental ability over time.
Right.
For instance, your focus might be laser sharp in the morning but dwindle by the afternoon.
So recognizing these patterns seems crucial for tailoring interventions effectively.
It is. If executive function is consistently a low point, or if it fluctuates dramatically, that's a signal to focus our neurohacking efforts there.
And addressing one bottleneck can often have cascading effects. Indirectly, improving other areas as well.
It can.
For instance, improving focus can enhance learning memory and even emotional regulation.
Absolutely.
So now that we've laid the groundwork and identified potential areas for growth,
Right.
let's dive into the heart of neurohacking.
Okay.
Self-experimentation. It's like taking the scientific method
It is.
and applying it to your own mind.
It's a systematic process, not just haphazardly trying different things and hoping for the best.
Can you walk us through this structured approach for our listener?
Yeah.
What are the steps involved?
It starts with pinpointing the precise mental target you want to enhance. Let's say it's focus.
Focus. Okay.
Next, you select an intervention believed to improve focus,
All right.
whether it's meditation, a nootropic supplement, or something else entirely.
But before diving into the intervention, we need to establish a baseline. Correct. We need to understand where we're starting from.
Absolutely.
How do we do that?
Ricker provides a range of self-assessment surveys and performance-based tests in her book to help with this. Once you have your baseline, then comes the intervention phase, where you meticulously track its effects on your chosen mental target.
So how do we measure the actual impact of an intervention? What kind of data should we be tracking?
It's about gathering objective data on how your performance changes. It's not just about feelings, it's about tracking metrics, noting any subjective experiences, and rigorously analyzing the results.
So this is where that data-driven approach we talked about earlier
Exactly.
becomes absolutely essential.
Precisely. Based on your findings, you can refine the intervention, adjust the dosage, or even try something completely different.
This iterative process is fascinating
It is.
because it underscores the importance of personalization. What works for one person might not work for another, and even what works for you now might not work for you later.
That's the beauty of it.
Okay, so let's open up the toolbox of interventions
Let's do it.
that Ricker explores in Smarter Tomorrow.
Oh,
We'll begin with foundational lifestyle changes
okay.
that often get overlooked, things like exercise,
Right.
sleep,
Uh-huh.
nutrition, and hydration.
The basics?
They might seem basic, but they form the bedrock of a healthy brain.
They do.
Most of us know exercise is good for us.
We do.
But can you delve into its specific cognitive benefits for our listeners? What does the research say?
Studies have demonstrated that a combination of aerobic and resistance training leads to notable improvements in cognitive performance.
How so?
It enhances blood flow to the brain, stimulates the growth of new brain cells, and facilitates neuroplasticity.
I can personally attest to feeling mentally sharper after a workout. It's like a mental reset.
For sure, Ricker emphasizes finding what works best for you and encourages experimentation. Interestingly, she even mentions a study that found cycling to be more beneficial than running for cognitive enhancement.
That's a fun fact for all the cyclists out there.
Yeah,
Now, sleep, it seems so obvious,
it does.
but can you explain why it's so critical for optimal brain function?
Yeah,
We all know we feel foggy when you're sleep deprived,
we do.
but what's actually happening in the brain?
Sleep plays an indispensable role in memory consolidation, clearing out toxins that accumulate during the day and restoring energy levels.
Uh-huh.
Ricker suggests simple strategies like using blue light filters in the evening and establishing a consistent pre-sleep routine to improve sleep quality.
I've heard about those blue light filters. Does adjusting the light on our devices before bed actually make a difference?
There is a growing body of research suggesting that reducing exposure to blue light in the evening can indeed improve sleep quality.
Okay, so there's something to that. Let's not forget about nutrition, the fuel that powers our brains.
Ricker stresses the importance of a balanced diet, rich in vitamins and minerals that support brain health. She actually shares a personal anecdote about experiencing iron deficiency due to poorly planned vegetarianism.
Oh, interesting.
It's a reminder that even seemingly healthy diets can have unintended consequences.
Definitely highlights the importance of being informed and doing your research when it comes to nutrition.
Right.
And of course, hydration is fundamental.
Absolutely.
Ricker offers a simple but often overlooked piece of advice.
What's that?
Carry a water bottle with you at all times to ensure you're staying adequately hydrated throughout the day. Even mild dehydration can impair cognitive function.
That's a good tip.
So it's incredible how these seemingly small lifestyle changes can have a significant impact on our brain power. But let's move on to some more cutting-edge interventions. What about mindfulness and meditation? They've gained a lot of popularity lately.
Mindfulness and meditation have demonstrated impressive cognitive and emotional benefits. Guided meditation in particular can reduce stress, sharpen focus, and enhance emotional regulation.
I've tried meditation on and off, but I often find it difficult to quiet my thoughts. Have you experimented with meditation?
It can be challenging at first, but with consistent practice, it becomes easier to cultivate a state of mental stillness and focus.
What about this neurofeedback thing?
Neurofeedback.
It sounds incredibly futuristic.
It utilizes real-time displays of brain activity to teach individuals how to consciously regulate their own brainwaves. Ricker describes it as a form of mental weightlifting, strengthening specific cognitive abilities over time.
She even tried it at home using a consumer EEG headset,
She did.
which is remarkable. It seems accessible even for those of us who aren't neuroscientists. Okay, let's venture into something that sounds a bit more daring. Brain stimulation, specifically TDCS.
Transcranial direct current stimulation.
Transcranial direct current stimulation. It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
It does, a little bit. TDCS is a non-invasive technique that involves applying a weak electrical current to targeted areas of the brain through electrodes placed on the scalp.
So how does that work?
It's been studied for its potential to enhance cognitive functions, such as memory learning and focus.
Ricker actually shares a funny story about experimenting with TDCS on a friend who ended up seeing flashes of light due to improper electrode placement.
Oh no.
It's a good reminder that safety should always be the priority.
While TDCS is generally considered safe when used responsibly, it's crucial to adhere to established protocols and be mindful of potential side effects.
So how should someone approach it?
Start with low levels of stimulation and gradually increase as needed, always monitoring your response carefully.
So it's not a magic bullet for instant intelligence.
Unfortunately not.
It's a tool that can potentially enhance our efforts.
That's a good way to put it.
What about the role of games in cognitive enhancement? We typically think of games as entertainment, but can they actually make us smarter?
Games, particularly those designed with cognitive enhancement in mind, can be surprisingly powerful tools for improving mental abilities. They tap into our natural inclination for challenge and reward, making the learning process more engaging and enjoyable.
Ricker discusses these serious games, games specifically created for learning or training purposes.
I see.
It's fascinating that she actually built one herself at MIT called Physical Physics, which taught players about physics concepts through movement and interaction.
Wow.
It's a testament to the potential of games to seamlessly integrate learning into entertainment, making them valuable for people of all ages.
I agree.
Ricker also highlights research indicating that playing action video games can improve attention, reaction time, and spatial reasoning.
Interesting.
She also delves into the use of games for emotional regulation, citing research suggesting that games can assist us in managing stress, anxiety, and even symptoms of depression.
Makes sense.
That resonates with my own experience. I find that when I'm immersed in a good game, my worries tend to fade away. It's like a mental escape.
I can relate to that.
Now let's talk about nootropics, often referred to as smart drugs. They seem to hold a lot of promise, but also come with some potential risks.
Nootropics encompass a wide range of substances, from natural supplements to synthetic compounds, all claiming to improve cognitive function. However, Ricker emphasizes caution and critical thinking when exploring this realm.
It's refreshing that she doesn't advocate for a reckless pop-a-pill approach to cognitive enhancement.
Right. The regulatory landscape for nootropics is considerably less stringent than for prescription medications, which means there's a greater risk of contamination, mislabeling, or lack of efficacy.
That's a good point.
Ricker encourages thorough research and a healthy dose of skepticism.
She even shares a cautionary tale about her own experience with nicotine gum.
Oh.
While she initially noticed some cognitive benefits, she ended up having a panic attack after combining it with caffeine on an empty stomach.
That sounds unpleasant.
This underscores the potential risks associated with self-experimentation, especially with substances that directly affect neurochemistry. Be mindful of potential interactions, start with very low doses, and carefully monitor your body's response.
Good advice. Ricker offers a balanced perspective on nootropics, acknowledging both their potential benefits and the importance of informed, responsible use.
Now let's shift our gaze to the horizon. What does the future of cognitive enhancement hold? What breakthroughs might be on the horizon?
Ricker explores a variety of emerging neurotechnologies that could radically transform how we approach brain enhancement.
Like what?
She starts with smarter genes. The idea of unraveling the genetic basis of intelligence and potentially using CRISPR technology to modify genes related to cognition.
While this is still largely theoretical, it raises fascinating possibilities.
Yeah.
Are we on the verge of being able to edit our genes to become smarter?
It's an area ripe with ethical considerations as well as exciting possibilities. Next, Ricker examines AI-powered tools. Imagine leveraging algorithms and machine learning to enhance decision-making, optimize learning strategies, and even augment our creative capabilities.
The potential applications of AI in this realm seem limitless. It's almost overwhelming to think about.
The integration of AI into our lives is already well underway, and its capacity to enhance cognitive function is truly vast. However, it's crucial that we proceed with caution, being mindful of potential biases and ensuring responsible development and utilization of these powerful tools.
That's a critical point.
Okay.
It's not just about technological advancement. It's about ethical implementation as well. What other mind-blowing possibilities are on the horizon?
Ricker delves into the fascinating realm of sensory augmentation envisioning a future where we expand our perception beyond the limits of our natural senses.
What does that even look like? Can you give us an example?
She discusses David Eagleman's Vest, a device that allows individuals to feel streams of data through vibrations on their skin. Imagine experiencing Twitter data through touch or perceiving ultraviolet light like a butterfly.
That sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, but it's
Yeah.
happening right now. It's incredible to think about the possibilities of adding new senses to our repertoire. What else?
Ricker also introduces the concept of moral neurotech, suggesting the possibility of utilizing technology to lessen our own biases and encourage ethical decision-making. Imagine a world where hiring decisions are based purely on merit free from unconscious prejudice, or where police officers have access to tools that de-escalate tense situations, preventing tragic outcomes.
That's a vision of technology used not just to make us smarter, but also to make us better. And of course, no discussion of the future of neurotech would be complete without touching on brain repair and the possibility of digital immortality.
Ricker discusses Elon Musk's Neuralink, a company developing brain-computer interfaces with the potential to repair brain damage, restore lost function, and even merge our minds with artificial intelligence.
It's mind-boggling to contemplate a world where paralysis is overcome, where lost memories are retrieved, or where our consciousness persists even after our physical bodies cease to exist.
It sounds like science fiction, but these possibilities are becoming increasingly plausible. Ricker also touches on the concept of digital immortality, the idea of uploading our minds to computers, preserving our thoughts, memories, and personalities in a digital realm.
It's a concept that forces us to grapple with fundamental questions about the nature of consciousness identity and what it means to be human.
Big questions indeed. Ricker concludes her exploration of the future of cognitive enhancement by emphasizing the increasing importance of personalized data and neurotech. Imagine having the ability to gather and analyze your own cognitive data in order to personalize interventions and truly optimize your mental performance.
As we generate more data through self-experimentation, we gain a deeper understanding of our own unique minds and can tailor our approach accordingly. It's like having a personalized brain manual that's constantly being updated.
That personalized approach is essential because, as we've discussed, there's no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to cognitive enhancement.
So where do we go from here? What are the key takeaways from this deep dive into Smarter Tomorrow? What does it all mean for the average person who is interested in boosting their brain power? Well, it feels like we've only just scratched the surface of this incredible field.
We have.
But I know our listener is eager to hear what we've gleaned from this exploration.
Right.
What are some key insights from Smarter Tomorrow that stand out for you?
Ricker's book provides a treasure trove of practical advice and strategies for enhancing cognitive function. She champions curiosity, encourages responsible experimentation, and invites readers to embrace this lifelong journey of self-discovery and brain optimization.
I love that framing, a lifelong journey. It's so empowering to think that we have the capacity to shape our own cognitive destinies.
I agree.
This isn't about striving for superhuman abilities. It's about unlocking our full potential and living more fulfilling lives. Before we conclude, I'm curious to hear your final thoughts. What particularly resonated with you from our discussion today?
The convergence of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science is striking.
In what way?
Take mindfulness practices, for example.
Okay.
They've existed for centuries, yet we're now gaining a deeper scientific understanding of their neurobiological underpinnings and how they can be harnessed to improve well-being and cognitive performance. And simultaneously, these emerging technologies like neurofeedback and brain stimulation are offering unprecedented avenues for shaping brain activity and unlocking human potential.
Wow.
It's truly an exhilarating time to be delving into the frontiers of the mind.
I couldn't agree more. And what's so compelling about Ricker's approach is that it goes beyond theoretical knowledge. It's about equipping individuals with the tools and knowledge to embark on their own cognitive enhancement journey through self-experimentation and personalized optimization.
Right. It puts the power in the hands of the individual.
Exactly. And that emphasis on personal agency is paramount. There's no universal solution, no magic pill. It's about uncovering what works best for you based on your individual brain, your aspirations, and your way of life.
It's a personalized journey for sure.
Let's distill all of this down to some key takeaways for our listener as they contemplate their own neurohacking adventures.
All right. So we've learned that neurohacking is a personalized, data-driven approach to optimizing cognitive function. It's not about quick fixes. It's about long-term exploration and understanding what truly works for you.
And while there are exciting new technologies on the horizon,
There are.
the foundation remains those essential lifestyle changes: exercise, sleep, nutrition, and hydration.
Can't forget those.
They're absolutely crucial.
Absolutely. We've also explored a range of interventions from mindfulness and meditation to brain stimulation and nootropics. Each holds its own potential benefits and risks, emphasizing the importance of informed decision-making and responsible experimentation.
It's a field that's rapidly evolving with potential breakthroughs like AI-powered tools, sensory augmentation, and even moral neurotech on the horizon. It's an invitation to approach this journey with curiosity, caution, and a healthy dose of skepticism. Don't be afraid to experiment, but always do your research. Start slowly, and most importantly, listen to your body.
And remember, this is a process of self-discovery, and it extends beyond simply improving brain power. It's about cultivating a deeper understanding of ourselves, broadening our cognitive horizons, and ultimately leading richer, more meaningful lives.
To our listener, as you embark on your own exploration into the world of neurohacking, I hope you approach it with a sense of wonder and a commitment to responsible exploration. It's an exciting adventure, and we're thrilled to have you along for the ride. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.